Coming up in this week's episode.
So this is like a little tiny, if you're just listening to this rather than watching it, it's a little tiny blue packet.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit like a Johnny. You're opening up a Johnny here, isn't
You've
it?
got a tiny Johnny.
Got the tiny.
Andy. Tiny.
Again,
mate.
1-star review.
You know that about 70% of the pedestrian crossing buttons don't work.
I didn't know that, James.
But they just change when they change.
Right.
So they'll change every 5 minutes. They'll
So you've
change.
got to have a
So you're
button.
pressing the button most of the time, doesn't make a fucking difference. But it makes you feel like you're in control of something.
God, if only I could remember how to speak, James.
Yeah, so if it wasn't your career, I'd be worried.
It's time to adjust those shoulder pads, backcomb what's left of your hair, and jump into the DeLorean for a look back at what's possibly the best decade anyone could ever have grown up in.
Shall we play a game?
This is Bring Back the 80s with your hosts James Alderson and me, Andy Jackson.
Welcome to the Bring Back the 80s podcast. Here we go again, James.
We are. What episode is it?
This is number 17.
It's brilliant. It's 2, it can't be. But we are back, aren't we?
Number 17 of season 4, by the way. It's not just 17, James. There's hundreds.
It goes on and on.
So today we're talking about arcades, things like that, and I can already smell that smell. If you go in the arcade, as you get
Sweat, food, cigarettes,
and money.
Yeah, dirty money.
Dirty money.
Dirty money. That obviously it doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, great. The old days when you ask your dad for 10 pence.
The only places they do exist is on the pier, isn't it? At the seaside, you will still find a bit of video games. It's not like the say. It's not. You don't go there for that though. You're going there for the shove hate, not the shove hate.
Yeah, well, the 2 pence
the 2p machines.
The weird thing is, my boys who are 18 and 21, they said, "Oh, I want to go and play some arcades." Because it's a sunny, like last week, we had a bit of sunshine, and we were like, because we've got 2 piers in Portsmouth. But you have to go and search for an arcade. They're all 2 pence machines, win tickets by bowling into a horse's mouth or whatever it is. And, you've got to find in the back corner of these arcades now an actual arcade machine. But when we were kids, there weren't fruit machines, not in the arcades. There weren't win tickets for 7,000 tickets for a 2 pence suite.
What on earth is that ticket thing
bollocks.
all about? Like
Bollocks. Yeah.
What is that? Whose idea was that? And why?
There's only a certain section of kids who want those tickets because they're playing the game and enjoying it, and then you get half a tree come out at the bottom, and you go, "Yeah, tickets," and you go, "What? No," and they're just left lying about.
Surely there's got to be a QR code now. Surely somebody just redeem your thing. And that, you're absolutely right though, because you got like your armfuls and armfuls of tickets, and it will get you like a 10p packet of sweets or something.
Yeah, and my sons win them and don't want them, obviously, so they go and give them to a 5-year-old, and the parents are looking at these 18 and 20-year-old lads going, "Sorry, what do you want? What do you want? Sorry." And they go, "Just give them the ticket." "No, thank you." Oh my God, just trying to give some gifts to kids.
Yes.
What's the harm?
Yeah, James.
I tried to give gifts to kids in the back of my van. Do they want to come in? Do they ever? I won't have any of it.
Yeah, you got you need the puppies, James.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what you need.
I'm growing them.
You need the puppies.
But yeah, so arcades back with dirty, greasy money, old school money, 10 pences, the old 10 pences as well,
the big ones,
big
proper
10
money,
pences,
yeah.
fit in the palm of your hand, and you'd have 5 minutes of gaming.
Yeah, and when you run out your 5 minutes with your 10p, if you searched hard on the floor, James, you would always find enough for one more game.
More game, yeah. And maybe even dropped out of one of the rare 2 or 10 pence machines that are shoveling them, that have dropped down into the metal trays at the bottom, one of those ones. King, another game. But in arcades, my boys don't believe it, but I said to them, every high street would have a unit that was just full of those single upright arcade machines, all very similar boxes, wooden boxes with a TV screen in, a joystick, 2 buttons, and a metal thing that said 10 pence. You'd push it in, it would drop out the bottom, and you go, "Oh, for Christ's sake!" Trying to put it in, it would drop out the bottom. Licking it, trying to get it to stick in the mechanism. And everyone had one. In the middle of Havant, they had one. I would spend 45 minutes in there.
They would think now the modern day equivalent would be a vape shop. So that as many vape shops as there were that many arcades, weren't there?
Every high street had one, at least one, and there was ashtrays everywhere.
Yes.
Even though it was full of 14-year-old kids. And there wasn't food, no vending machines, no drinks machines. You just go in there and stand with your can of Coke or whatever and just play for 45 minutes, an hour. And that was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
Well, let's have a little look and recreate some of those sights, smells and sounds. Here we go. See how many of these you can recognise.
Well, that's me in the front there.
Stargate.
Wow.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
So I think these ones were from America.
Yeah.
Because there's some America, you will find a slightly portly child
Pac-Man.
from America, because we didn't have fat kids.
No.
I love the sound.
Yeah.
Just that sound as you go in. Star Trek.
Yeah, wow.
Thing is, they were all effectively the same game underneath, weren't they? They were all exactly the same.
Yeah. Just lots of lines originally. Initially, lots of lines and sharp bits. Frogger, wow.
Mousetrap.
Yeah. Don't remember that one. Obviously, yeah. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
it. There we go. Yeah.
As you say, the noises. I mean, the smells. The carpet that had not been fluffy
yeah.
for many years. Chewing gum and spilt Coke and spilt ashtrays and whatever was around. Just grimy places and dirty trainers just walking around it all the time. But the sounds. I mean, it's just lovely. Just to take you right back to those moments where you're just forgetting about everything.
It's almost like a hypnotic thing. Some people like to fall asleep to the sound of rainfall or ocean whales, things like that. But that would just lull you straight back, wouldn't it? Sometimes,
nice. Yeah, it's nice, wasn't it? Just maybe you'd have a drifter or an old Texan bar, chewing on that and a can of Coke, and they'd have somewhere to stand your Coke, or you'd balance it on the top of the screen there, and just that joystick. There was no hand gel. No wipes.
No.
Go on, grip round it. You just had a fistful of chips and ketchup. Have a grab of that joystick.
Maybe that's why we never got sick, though. Perhaps that's because perhaps we had that baseline of germs. But we're saying as well about all the games effectively being the same underneath. Nothing has changed in that respect. I was one of these people who have you ever tried the MetaQuest immersion things where you got the 3D goggles now?
Yeah.
And you can do that.
Yeah.
And when I tried that out, because it was quite expensive, and I tried it and I thought, oh, this is mind blowing. Somebody had one and I thought, I've got to get one of these.
Yeah.
And I got one of these, and of course it only comes with a limited number of games.
Of course,
you have to buy the games of that.
Yeah.
But there's one out now which is called Beat Saber. Have you heard of Beat Saber? You have to.
Oh yes.
Beat
I've
Saber.
seen that. Yeah.
And then I realised that you don't actually have to go like this on Beat Saber. You just go like this.
Yeah.
It works just as well.
You have to move.
And underneath, everything is exactly the same.
Yeah.
All the games are the same.
Yeah.
So nothing again has changed since the 80s, apart from the fact that you look like a flipping idiot with these massive great goggles on.
Yeah, it's not a good look, is it? Walking around the high street, trying to find an arcade. Like you're in a virtual world, mate. You don't have to leave the bedroom. Yeah. I mean, they're all the same, but they had a different, twist on the theme, didn't they? And you find something that really appealed to you. It might be space, or it might be animals, or it might be fighting, and it was just. I loved it, and they brought in the ones where you sat in them, Outrun,
yes,
one of those ones where you're driving a car with the top down and your bird next to you, and you're driving through the deserts and driving through Las Vegas. Oh, amazing escapism, wasn't it?
Those were my favourite ones, were the driving ones. I always remember going again. Pier arcades were the ones for me. But sitting in the car, and driving a car, as a child,
so realistic. Those cars,
it's so realistic. Yes.
Cars made out of 50 pixels, but it was the music would be playing, and you'd be pretending to have a girlfriend and driving, and sometimes those arcades would be 50 pence.
Yes.
So the big ones you sit in, because there's a big footprint in an arcade to have one of those sat there, and it would look like a real car. But that was probably more like 85, 86, 87. But that was very early 80s in those arcades. Dimly lit, just grease. Yeah.
That was all the yellow from the nicotine on the lights. Everything was going to be dimly lit all the time. We're talking about the sounds. Let's do a quick little mystery sound.
Go on,
James. Have a little guess at this if you can.
It's the mystery sound of the 80s.
I have no bloody idea. What was that?
Yeah.
Was it the same thing repeated 3 times?
It was the same thing
Okay.
repeated 3 times. So just to give you a bit of fighting chance, James,
Ooh, I'll have to have a think about that.
give it about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll reveal towards
Yeah,
the
if I
end
can have
of
10
the
minutes, yeah.
of the episode, see if you
Yeah.
can work out what it is. Speaking of revealing all, we've got our big final live show.
Live
coming up.
show.
God, if only I could remember how to speak, James.
Yeah, so if it wasn't your career, I'd be worried. Live show, 21st of June. I'm not sure when this episode's going out. Probably
This is going out
before
on
then,
the
is
3rd
it?
of June. This is the 3rd of June, yeah.
So 21st of June. Is that Saturday?
Spring Arts Centre Saturday, 8 o'clock. Doors
Yeah.
open at 7.
There's a
If
bar.
you want to come along. Last time we did one of these at Christmas as well. I'm not. I don't need to give too much away, but we had sweetie surprises, didn't we?
Yeah, there will be some surprises.
Yes.
And it's summer themed. So it's all going to be about those blisteringly gorgeous, burnt to shit 80s summers that we all had as kids and teenagers. So if you remember when we had proper seasons, Andy, we're currently just about to enter June, aren't we, with this bouncing with rain outside. So yes, if you remember those glorious summers of your childhood and teen years, and for you, 30-something.
30s, yeah. First marriage by then, yeah, easy.
Then come along, because it'll be a great nostalgic trip for 80s summertime.
Spring Arts in Havant. You can go to their website or to ours.
Yep.
Bring back the 80spodcast.com.
Yeah.
Now, so we were talking obviously today about the arcades and things like that.
Yeah.
As with everything new that comes along, they will always tell the youth that it's not a good thing and it is bad for the brain.
Always.
Let's go to an American TV report on this new craze of video gaming and see what they
Well,
said.
they come as if from outer space in a variety of weird guises. Defender, Pac-Man, asteroids. To fans, they represent a challenge. But to critics, as Terry Drinkwater reports, they are a menace.
Come on in. It's almost another world here in the video arcades of America. 1 billion games are played every month, a quarter each for Escape, which can last a long time if you're skilled. Pit yourself against the computer. Millions, mostly teenagers, have. So many, in fact, that psychologists are beginning to worry that some youths are becoming spaced out on the space games.
You can't get hooked on it.
Are you?
Yeah. It keeps on making you play the game. Once you start to play it for a while, you keep on playing it.
Any normal person would want to beat the machine.
And you come back?
Oh, sure.
Again?
Oh, sure.
Again?
Yeah.
So good job that it was American kids, because if it was English kids, they wouldn't be quite as outgoing as those. It's like they're trained. It's like they're trained for media.
Yeah,
in
they love
America,
it.
weren't they? Yeah.
Oh, it's all out, extrovert, outgoing, exciting. You talk to a Brit on anything like Tomorrow's World or Blue Peach, and they go,
Hello.
I really like the games. They're so entertaining and sophisticated. They're right, though. Every game started to have a continue question mark at the end. Maybe not the very basic ones at the beginning, but certainly into the 80s you would get this, put another 10p in. Do you want to continue? Carry on. It's that addiction really.
But it's
was
no
important.
different to what's going on social media now. We're all addicted to, you know, as adults, we're all addicted to scroll,
dopamine hit.
scroll. Yeah, and that is the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you know, obviously, then they were earning money out every time you press the continue.
Yeah.
Another coin going in. I dare say there will be another iPhone where you can to continue. Well, you kind of do, don't you? You pay with your Apple Pay to continue. So
You
it
never
is-
put it down.
No, it
You're
has
always
happened.
spending your
yeah.
money, and they tried to put you off. The media will always try and scare you. The current one's AI, of course. It's like, oh my god, and they want to scare you away from anything that's going to take you away from maybe a pen and paper or a book. Tron. The Tron
Yes,
film, that was
yeah.
like, you're going to get addicted, because that all started in arcades.
Yeah.
You're going to get absorbed into the machine, and you'll become one with the machine. And now, of course, we're not worried, because we actually fucking are one with the
are
machine.
one with the-
So it's like, I think it's great. I think everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Thing is, though, we are though, because we all. You look at the number. Obviously, you see everybody has got the phone.
Yeah.
But everybody has also got the earbuds in now as
Yeah.
well. So we're kind of connected.
Yeah.
All the time. time now.
I do find myself talking to myself a lot more, mostly in my own house where my family are right next to me, and I'm chatting away, and then after about 3 minutes of saying something, I wait for a reaction. I think nobody's answered. And I look around, they've all got earbuds in. I'm like, hello? They go, oh, sorry, you're talking to me? I'm like, yes, I am. Would you mind fucking answering? I'm listening to something. I said, sorry, I'm in the wrong. Just trying to interact. Sorry about this. Sorry, everybody. Trying to talk to my own fucking family.
Oh, so you know what though? It's just, again, I can be having a lie-in with my other half, and we'll both be on our phones in bed, and I will send her a message from next to her. Cup of tea.
Yeah.
So we're kind of used to. We are used to just being connected 24/7.
Well, as long as you're just laying next to each other and it's not in the middle of intercourse.
Well,
Just
yeah,
like,
that would
how's
be
this for you? It's like, hang on, I'm just going to turn this phone on to vibrate. It might be a bit better.
Okay. 5-star review. One day.
1-star TripAdvisor. Oh dear. Yeah. How was your ride?
Must try harder.
Yeah,
Must try harder.
Oh dear.
So anyway, let's do a little surprise, James.
Oh, go on then.
Time is cracking on.
It is.
James's special lunchbox surprise.
Well, this is the most traditional of traditional lunchbox snacks that I remember as a kid. Certainly remember at my grandmother's. So have a little look in there, and it's just a nice sort of. It's older than the 80s actually, but just such a memory for me. And we've got one each. I think it was Smiths, weren't they? They're now Walkers.
Salt and Shake, yes.
Yeah. It says originally Smiths, I've just noticed.
No,
so
there you go.
Nice
Yeah.
reflection of it. Salt and Shake potato crisps, because obviously back in the day, 100 years ago, or whatever, you didn't get flavoured crisps. And then they started adding salt in, then cheese and onion and all the other stupid flavours. But this was, even in the 80s, just one of those things where you could salt it or not. My granny didn't salt them. She'd have them without salt on.
Oh, how strange.
Because she was born in the 20s and she quite liked them without salt.
But most old people put shitloads of salt on everything.
I know, yeah.
Shitloads.
Yeah, because they've lost all their taste buds.
So this is like a little tiny, if you're just listening to this rather than watching it, it's a little tiny blue packet.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit like a Johnny. You're opening up a Johnny here, isn't
You've got the tiny Johnny, Andy. Tiny
Again,
for me.
1-star review.
But, these were... Obviously, in the 80s, they brought out all sorts of stupid flavours. Prawn cocktail was a big one.
Yeah,
I think, in the 70s
loved
and 80s.
the prawn cocktail.
Beef.
Yeah.
They had beef they brought out. Hang on.
Can't go wrong with the crisp. And
Very simple, these are.
Yeah. At least they're real potatoes, where they're not like the maize starchy corny stuff. At least this is an actual, it bears some resemblance to the vegetable.
You can't
that it
beat
was.
this, can you?
No.
They taste exactly the same.
What I would like to know though is at what point did cheese and onion turn into mature cheddar and roasted whatever. They can't just say cheese and onion anymore. It's got to be a particular kind of cheese, and it's got to be a particular. It's got to be spring onion.
It's got to be cordon bleu.
Yeah,
fast food, junk food. Yeah, in the 80s they did bring out, and I'm hoping some people remember this, simple crisps with flavoured cheese and onion sachets, or different sort of ones. The sachets, not just the salt. It wasn't Salt and Shake, it was another brand. But you'd sprinkle them on, a bit like you sprinkle on the sauce in a pot noodle. These would have different flavours in. So you'd even sprinkle on the cheese and you'd sprinkle on the beef. So for a short period of time. Obviously just a little novelty. But these just...
They're very nice. They're very Moorish. I've often wondered about the pot noodles and you sprinkling on the thing. Why do they put us through that extra step of sprinkling it on when it's all dried anyway? Why not just put it in with the mix?
I think that it just makes you feel like you're cooking. As a student, you go, I've made myself a meal. Have you? You've given something.
Probably right, yeah. You've done something there. You've made that. You've made
it's like
it
the
your own.
pedestrian crossings. You know that about 70% of the pedestrian crossing buttons don't work.
I didn't know that, James.
But they just change when they change.
Right.
So they'll change every 5 minutes. They'll
So you've
change.
got to have a
So you're
button.
pressing the button most of the time. Doesn't make a fucking difference. But it makes you feel like you're in control of something. But when in fact...
You're not pressing it. You're not pressing it enough times. So it's a well-known fact. If you press it 75 times, then it will change.
The most passive-aggressive thing you can do in the world is when someone's already pressed it, they stood there, and you walk over and go. Like on a lift button.
Just
Come
in
on.
case they've pressed it wrong.
Just stupid idiots don't know how to press a button.
Definitely. So that's our lunchbox surprise.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, if we're reviewing things today,
Yeah.
James, I'm going to give this a 5-star review
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
Walker's Sort and Shake crisp.
Yeah, I'm still
now
eating it.
available. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So that's very, very good.
Thank you.
Do you want to find out what the mystery sound was?
Go on then, but was it screwing up a bag of crisps?
It could have been, couldn't it?
Sounds a bit like it.
Could have been, but watch
Not
this,
quite.
James. Watch this little clip.
It's the mystery sound of the 80s.
Oh my goodness. Pity the fool that don't remember.
A little they were Peelies, weren't they? They're called
Secret
Peelies.
note
Yeah.
Books.
So
weren't they?
yeah, like an early iPad for. So, but you just, I mean, it's a very simple concept. You write on it. When you'd finish looking at it, you'd peel it and start again.
You could show it to the friend next to you and go, I love Sarah. And they go, what was that, James? Nothing. Lift it up and they can't see it. And go on, tell me what it was. Tell me. I'm not telling you.
But simple things like that. And I'm guessing you could still get those. There must be still available as stocking fillers or.
I think with budget cuts, that's what the Secret Service use these days to pass on messages to each other. Just a little peely thing.
To be honest, if we go back to those days, James, it probably will be more secure. 'Cause how are they going to hack that from North Korea?
Yeah, China.
How are you going to do that? There we go. James, look at the time.
Yeah.
21 minutes.
Okay.
And we're into the end of episode number 17.
Yeah.
So today, if you're watching this for the first time, it is Tuesday the 13th of June, which means there's only, I think, 2 weeks to Saturday the 21st and our big final Bring Back the 80s summer live show.
Yeah, I mean,
at
if you
Spring Arts.
loved the 80s, if you grew up in the 80s, maybe you didn't love it, and you want to come and hear us slag it off a bit, then come along. There's going to be some little treats. There'll be laughter plenty all night. And we'll be recording, 2 episodes?
Yes.
Just to celebrate summers of the 80s and probably reflect on how different they are these days.
Yeah, Speedo's optional, but you're more than welcome to come along in your Speedos if you wish.
Yeah.
We'll be wearing them.
Yeah,
for sure.
And we're doing another episode after this about more arcades experiences in the high street, and then a couple of episodes about mixtapes.
Yeah.
And so make sure you keep an eye out for those.
Until then, we will see you next Tuesday.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition. We'd love it if you could subscribe in your favourite podcast app. And don't forget, there's a video version on YouTube too. You can contact us using the links in the show notes and on the YouTube channel. And we'll see you next time for another edition of Bring Back the 80s.